From St. Louis, Missouri tonight, it's the Pittsburgh Pirates against the St. Louis Cardinals. The first of a three-game series, the start of a two-city, six-game road trip for the Pirates. They'll be taking on the first-place club in the East over the weekend, the Mets in New York. But tonight, from St. Louis, we take a look at the National League Central Division standings. The Buccos just 5 games back of the Redbirds, still trying to battle for this division title. Coming your way from St. Louis, Missouri, downtown, the gateway to the West, Greg Brown along with John Wehner. And, John, we take a look at the season series so far. You can't really get much more evenly matched. 5 wins, 5 losses. The Cardinals have scored 39 runs total against the Pirates. The Pirates have scored 38 runs against the Cardinals.
Obviously, the two best pitching staffs in the National League. You're going to have low-scoring games. You're going to have close games. We've had our share of extra-inning games against these clubs, not just this year, but the last 2 years. So you expect another great series here in St. Louis.
John, the last time these two clubs met at PNC Park, the Pirates won the last 3 games. In fact, they've won the last 5 of 6 against the Cardinals, but they were playing at PNC Park. The last time they were here in early May, the Cardinals walked off 3 straight extra-inning games. Distinct home field advantage.
No question about it. We keep talking about the wild card. We don't want to be back in that wild card situation. We want to win the division. If you're going to win the division, you have to win here. 6 of the 9 games left in this series are here in St. Louis. We haven't had a great track record here. We've lost a lot of heartbreakers. If we win these 2 series, I think we have a chance to win the division.
Well, it's Jeff Locke tonight against Carlos Martinez, but when we come back, we're going to talk about the National League's Player of the Week. Who else? Andrew McCutchen. He is leading the Pirates into St. Louis. It's the Buccos and the Cardinals coming up.
Between the Pirates and the Cardinals from Busch Stadium. Beautiful night for baseball as the Cards and Buccos meet, and Andrew McCutchen had a beautiful week. In particular, the series against the Los Angeles Dodgers. 7 for 12, John. And on Sunday, he capped it off with a 4 RBI performance.
Pretty impressive. It doesn't matter who's up there. Lefty, righty, Kershaw, Latos, bullpen. This guy is getting pitches to hit, and he's crushing them. And you almost look at his reaction here. Why are they still pitching to me? He gets pitches to hit, and he's not missing them.
Take a look at the Barrel Automotive League leaders in terms of his National League Player of the Week numbers. The 3 games against the Dodgers, then 2 against the Chicago Cubs. Hit .563, 8 runs batted in, scored 7, on-base percentage .652. And he will be facing, and the rest of the Pirates, Carlos Martinez, who has 11 wins this season.
Yeah, part of the reason why this is the best pitching staff in all of baseball. Martinez has really come into his own as a starting pitcher. At times he can have some command issues. The 3 walks his last time out, but he's tough here at home at .280 ERA. Pitched to Jim against the Pirates back on July 9th, 7 1/3, just 4 hits, couple of walks, no runs. Really good off-speed stuff, a fastball in the upper 90s. Always a tough go when you come here to St. Louis and you face a guy like Martinez.
11-4 on the year for the young right-hander, and we'll be talking about the other pitcher for the Pirates, the lefty, Jeff Locke, who has pitched well against the Cardinals in 7 career starts. We'll talk about that coming up next. Here in St. Louis, Busch Stadium, sellout crowd. We'll be watching the Pirates and the Cardinals, and Jeff Locke on the hill for the Buccos.
A couple of starts for Locke this year against these Cardinals. 0-1 with a 3.09 ERA. His last time out against the Cubs actually was pretty sharp, looked really good until that 6th inning. He gave up a couple of homers back-to-back, so he gave up the 4 runs in 5 2/3. And I think he's up to the task coming in here to St. Louis, and he knows he's up against some good pitching, and these are big games, and so hopefully Jeff Locke will have his best tonight.
Starling Marte and the rest of the Pirates getting fired up to take on the St. Louis Cardinals. They start today 5 behind the first-place club in the National League Central Division, trying to win this series. In order to do that, they want to win Game 1, of course. Jason Hayward and the Redbirds getting geared up. Let's go back to Pittsburgh before we bring you the first pitch here tonight. Rob King in a game break. the showdown series. First of 3 with the Cardinals. You know Andrew McCutchen will be ready. The National League's Player of the Week. These two clubs so evenly matched, as we just talked about, really going back to the start of the 2012 season. And again, as we said moments ago, a distinct home field advantage. The Pirates will try and turn the tide in that regard starting tonight. Last time we were here, May 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, a weekend series against the Cardinals. Very dramatic. All 3 games went extra innings, and each of the 3 games the Cardinals walked off with the victory. Clint Hurdle pointed out that the Pirates left, I think he said, a small village on the bases in that series. So they'll look to, when they have an opportunity, drive in the runs. In fact, one game went 11 innings. On May the 2nd, the Pirates lost 2-1. The Bucs left 18 men on base in a 2-1 ball game. Take a look at the Toyota starting lineup for the Pirates. Gregory Polanco leads off. Then it's Starling Marte and Andrew McCutchen. Aramis Ramirez hits cleanup. Jung Ho Gung bats 5th. Neil Walker in his career against Martinez is 4 for 13. That's a .308 average. Pedro Alvarez bats 7th. Francisco Cervelli and Jeff Locke, the starting 9 for the Pirates.
There's your numbers for Carlos Martinez. Already more than 40 innings pitched than he had a year ago. A very impressive 2.57 ERA. They're 17-3 when he gets a start. Can get a little wild with the 51 walks. He can't give up the long ball. He has 11, but the opponents only hit 242 against him, and it's even better when there's runners on base or in scoring position.
Here's the defense behind Carlos Martinez. What a job the rookie Stephen Piscotty has done. He's out in left field. Randall Grichuk is in center field. Another outstanding rookie. Jason Hayward in right. Matt Carpenter, Johnny Peralta on the left side of the infield. Colton Wong, Mark Reynolds on the right side. Yadier Molina, the Gold Glove catcher for Carlos Martinez. There he is, Yadier Molina. Cardinals just coming off a series against the Milwaukee Brewers in Milwaukee. Both the Pirates and the Redbirds had the day off yesterday, so that'll help. The bullpens will be fresh. The Cardinals were trying to sweep that series, but were beaten late on Sunday against the Brewers.
You know what's interesting about these two clubs is obviously the two best pitching staffs in the majors, ERA wise, and runs are always hard to come by here in St. Louis, but in Pittsburgh, you know, they've scored some runs. I mean, they've had a lot of runs scored. In fact, 76 in 7 games between the two, so averaging almost 11 runs per game.
They had 3 games here earlier this season were very low scoring. Quickly 2 strikes on Gregory Polanco. He was 5 for 7 against Carlos Martinez. 11-4, 2.57 ERA. Lefties hit a little bit better against him than do righties, and a fly ball to Hayward in right. 1 out to start the ball game.
And Martinez, you think of him as a starter, you think of a hard thrower, a guy that can touch triple digits. We've seen him hit triple digits. He averages about 95 and can get it up to the high 90s. But his fastball gets hit. It's his secondary pitches that makes him so tough. Curveball doesn't throw as much as his slider, but his slider teams hit just 177 against it. His changeup even better. Opponent average of just 148.
Starling Marte this season batting .343 against Cardinals pitching. He is 0 for 7 lifetime against Martinez. And that changes with this down the line and left. Starling Marte has himself at least a double, and Piscotty will make sure it's only a double. A 1-out 2-base hit, snuck it past Carpenter.
Like to see it. Get runners on, especially in front of Andrew McCutchen, who's as hot as anybody. He wanted it away. It came running back into the inner half of the plate. Marte could turn around anybody's fastball. Turns around Martinez and perhaps gives McCutchen an RBI opportunity, but you have to wonder. We'll see how the Cardinals attack McCutchen here this 3-game set.
They've done a nice job this season against him. 21 doubles now for Starling Marte on the year. But McCutchen batting only .222 against Cardinal pitching this season. First pitch strike. Rivers Casino tips to win.
Well, let's see if we can get Kutch to carry over that hot week last week and that great series in LA. Carry it over here, stay hot against these Cardinals. And for Jeff Locke, I think it's always important for him to be locked in on that inside part of the plate with that four-seam fastball.
Wave and a miss at the breaking pitch. Now an 0-2 count on Andrew McCutchen. National League Player of the Week. 3 for 12 lifetime versus Carlos Martinez. Well, Wong standing at the bag at second, trying to keep Marte there. McCutchen, 405 batting average with men in scoring position. That is the best mark in the league. 74 RBIs. Only 3 players in the National League have more runs batted in. Nolan Arenado, Paul Goldschmidt, and Buster Posey.
Tried to sneak that fastball in there on Andrew at 98 miles per hour.
Looking to strike first in this series. And it stays 1-2.
He got away with the breaking ball there. And that's the one thing with Martinez. He has been very good in these situations with runners in scoring position. He doesn't give up much. But last couple of pitches ahead of Andrew McCutchen, he's left the ball over the middle of the plate.
Derek Lilliquist is the pitching coach, and he's thrilled with what the pitchers have done, and especially in these situations, not just Martinez, the entire staff holding the opponents to a 194 batting average with men in scoring position. Best in all of baseball, and even better with 2 outs. Martinez steps off, and again, Wong holding Marte almost first baseman like. We'll see Michael Wacha tomorrow against Garrett Cole. And he throws him with a breaking ball. Strikes out McCutchen looking.
You know the curveball has a lot of break when you see Andrew McCutchen kind of back away and the pitch ends up being on the outside part of the plate. It just froze him. He saw it up. Started out probably right around the hip, upper body, and breaks over that outer third.
Now Aramis Ramirez. Ramirez playing his 13th game since being traded back over to the Pirates. Had a good series against the Dodgers with Ramirez. He has 5 hits in his last 13 at bats. Real good numbers in his career against the Cardinals, not so much this season. Batting just 185 against Redbirds pitching this year, but his career over 300. One ball, 1 strike. And now it's 1-2.
And with as many off-speed pitches as Martinez throws, and he starts Aramis off with 2 straight breaking balls. Then he throws that fastball in there at 98. Looks much firmer than that. Looks so much harder.
He gets hit by the pitch. Just clipped him. And it's first and second. Certainly not something Martinez wanted to do ahead of the count, 1-2. And it's first and second for Jung Ho Kang.
Just tries to lock him up inside. The ball just keeps running in. Aramis, he starts his hands just a bit and catches that back wrist forearm area. And Martinez, 087 they hit against him with runners in scoring position, 2 outs.
Yeah.
Pretty remarkable. Just 4 hits and 46 at bats.
That's unbelievable. Ball 1. Jung Ho Kang. 4-game hitting streak for him. He has seen Martinez previously. He's 2 for 5 against him. He had a big series against the Dodgers. One and one.
Take that a step further. You look at the 4 for 46 scoring position, 2 outs, Greg. 22 of the 46 he struck out. Almost half.
Well, that'll put an end to it.
That's crazy.
Any thoughts? My word. Man. One ball, 1 strike. Toward right field. Hayward over. It's over his head. Jung Ho Kang's going to give the Buccos the lead. Into second base goes Kang with an RBI double. It's 1-0 in the first.
That's a big 2-out RBI hit from Jung Ho. Martinez, again, not used to seeing that. Doesn't give up many hits with runners in scoring position, 2 outs, but Jung Ho may have been thinking fastball there. He did this to Ramirez. Breaking ball, then snuck a fastball in there. Went to Kang. Breaking ball, throws a fastball up, out, over the plate. Good swing once again. Jung Ho showing that good pop the opposite way. Short hops the wall, giving the Bucks the early lead.
Couple of doubles in the inning, and now Neil Walker with 2 men in scoring position. Marte and McCutchen talking about that wicked breaking ball, Martinez. Roller on the right side. Oh, the Pirates get a Marte double with 1 out. And with 2 outs, Jung Ho Kang doubles. 1-0 Pirates. Only started playing on a regular basis, I mean every day, since the Mercer-Harrison injuries. And now it is the St. Louis Cardinals and the Honda starting lineup for Mike Matheny's Redbirds. Matt Carpenter getting ready to step in. Last 10 games, hitting .375 with 12 extra base hits. Then it's Colton Wong, Johnny Peralta, and Jason Hayward. Randall Grichuk in center. Yadier Molina behind the plate, bottom third of the order. Scotty, Reynolds, and Martinez.
And Jeff Locke gets to take the mound with the lead. Just a one-run lead. 22nd start, 6-6, 431. 92 punch-outs and 119 innings, 10 long balls. But for the most part, I thought he'd done a pretty good job keeping the ball in the ballpark.
Be interesting to watch and see if Clint Hurdle lets him go more than 2 times through the lineup. First pitch, ball 1 on Matt Carpenter. 6-game hitting streak for him. Moved into the leadoff spot the end of July, and since then batting .345. He's homered 4 times in the last 6 games. .2-0. Carpenter among the league leaders in free passes.
Yeah, he's not afraid to take strikes. He's not afraid to hit with 2 strikes.
Ball 3.
Kind of amazes me with Carpenter hitting just .266 on the year. With his approach and his consistency, it always seems to give you a good professional at bat.
So for Jeff Locke, this is his 8th career start against the Cardinals. 2-3, .355 ERA versus St. Louis. Broken bat, and it's going to drop in. So he has a 7-game hitting streak. Hopefully everybody's okay over there.
I think it managed to find an empty seat.
My
The broken
gosh.
bat as Jeff Locke comes inside. Pretty good location, but Carpenter likes to use the whole field, likes to stay up the middle. You stay inside this pitch, fight it off, you get the weak little flare out there. You try to pull that. Good chance you hit a weak grounder to the right side.
And now it's Colton Wong. Ball 1. .266 average on the year. He is hitting over .300 against Pirates pitching this season. 3 of his 11 homers against the Bucks. .2-0.
Good fastball hitter. Seems like every time he hits a big home run against the Pirates, it's on a fastball in. Cheating, trying to turn on it.
2-1, fouls off that fastball. Wong batting only .227 against left-handed pitching on the year. And lefties hit .271 off Locke. Right-handed batters .266. Bouncer. Be tough to double up Wong. They'll get one. An unnecessary throw and a nice pick by Alvarez. And that could have been bad. They get the out at second. Wong is aboard with 1 out. Francisco Cervelli behind the plate. Pedro Alvarez, Neil Walker on the right side of the infield. Aramis Ramirez, Jung Ho Kang on the left side. Marte, McCutchen, Polanco in the outfield left to right. And Tom Singer from Pirates.com asked Clint Hurdle before the game about Cervelli and how important it might be for him to catch Cole. And Clint Hurdle said it is important. In fact, he'll catch Cole tomorrow. Johnny Peralta now at the plate. Peralta is 0 for 12 in his career against Locke. Been mired in a bit of a slump lately, 0 for his last 15 at bats.
Jeff Locke early on in this ball game not showing very good fastball command. Really impressive numbers there against Peralta.
Line into left center. McCutchen was thinking about throwing to third, and actually it's a good thing maybe he dropped the ball in a weird kind of way.
Yeah, I don't think
he goes to third. Peralta has a chance to move up.
Yeah, but it's a fastball again, up out over the plate. Good swing there from Peralta. And Andrew playing deep has a long way to go to his left. Colton Wong, no hesitation, would have beaten the throw. I don't think where Wong was when Andrew come and gloved that ball. I don't think he had a shot at Wong over there at third. So play was at second. Double play still in order.
Jason Hayward at the plate. And a nice play by Alvarez to get that, and on to first, and out there. How about the ball?
Wow.
Pedro Alvarez, his best defensive play as a first baseman by far. Mike Matheny is going to challenge the play at first.
Boy, that one hopper to Pedro, you're starting to think, I don't know, could you get two on this play? Is he better off coming home? But Pedro with a good, strong, accurate throw to second. The return throw to Pedro looks like it arrived just late. You see there, Hayward on the bag before Pedro makes the catch. But even a great play by Pedro on the receiving end of that throw from Jung Ho.
St. Louis challenges. Looks like this game's going to be tied after all. First base umpire Ron Kolpa. Heck of a play by Alvarez. Almost turned a sensational double play. Hayward is safe. Give him an RBI and a 1-1 game.
Well, you have to wonder if it's a better throw to Pedro from Jung Ho if he's stretching out in front of him instead of going kind of parallel with the bag. If that ball would have been caught, you figure it's probably getting caught right about there.
Right.
You know, maybe before Hayward reaches the bag. I mean, it's that close, those plays at first base. If Pedro's reaching straight out, accurate throw, they may get the double play.
So it's 1-1 that quickly. And here's Randal Grichuk. Grichuk is 8 for 18 against Pirates pitching this season. .444 batting average. He has picked things up. They've lost Matt Holliday a couple of times to DL stints. Holliday currently on the DL.
Pretty amazing how the Cardinals get these types of performances from players year after year. A guy comes up, you think, they're really going to struggle. They're doomed when they lose a guy like Holliday, middle of the lineup presence. And then a guy like Grichuk comes up and does pretty impressive things.
Jeff Locke gave up a broken bat single to start this first inning. Wong hit the chopper to the right side. Peralta single to left center field, and Hayward chops one to first. And a bounding ball to Ramirez. And in the dirt. And a Ramirez error will allow the runners to not only move up, but the inning continues. It is so strange to see Aramis Ramirez make as many errors as he has since joining the Pirates.
I agree. You know, he's made this play thousands of times. It doesn't get any more routine than this. An easy two-hopper. He's got his feet moving, going towards his target. And really an easy throw. He had time. Literally thousands of times he's made that play.
Aramis Ramirez, it's his 9th error of the season, his 4th since joining the Pirates. In 13 games, it's his 4th error. Just it doesn't add up. And now 2nd and 3rd for Yadier Molina. And a ground ball to Gong. And on to first for the final out. Cardinals tie it 1-1.
Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Toyota. Toyota helps you get the most out of your drive. Just ask a friend who drives one. Toyota, let's go places. And by Barrel Automotive, we're driven to be better. Let's go Bucks.
Tied at 1 after 1. And no surprise how evenly matched these two teams have been, that they would exchange first inning runs. Half the games played this year have gone into extra innings. 2 of them went 14. Carlos Martinez gave up 2 doubles in the first. And it's Pedro Alvarez leading things off. Under Mike Matheny, these Redbirds are 40-16 here at Busch Stadium. That is the best record in baseball. Cardinals do not move the shortstop over to the right side against Alvarez. They keep Peralta over on the left side of the infield. They do have Wong several steps onto the outfield grass. Almost every team employs a shift against Alvarez with 3 infielders on the right side.
Yeah, that's a big hole between short and second.
He is 1 for 11 lifetime against Martinez. He's hit 14 home runs against the Cardinals since the start of the 2012 season. And a strikeout, the second for Martinez.
Off-speed pitch, I think a changeup. That's well off the plate away. Pedro obviously not picking that one up very well.
Francisco Cervelli. Last 15 games, batting over 400. And it is interesting that the Pirates will decide to start catching Cervelli with Cole. Probably a couple reasons behind that, John, I would think. Number one, maybe first and foremost, you don't want that bat out of the lineup when he's been hitting. And as good as Stewart has been, Cervelli driving the ball, the gaps, hitting some home runs on occasion, showing some power. But in addition, maybe thinking down the road that if they are going to play a one-game wild card, and Cole, will pitch that game, that Cervelli would be behind the plate for that one.
Yeah, sure. Not only just in the wild card.
In the playoffs period, right?
Yeah, playoffs period.
Not just one game. Cervelli broken back roller to Peralta.
What if you had a deciding game 5 or deciding game 7?
Yeah.
And it's Cole on the mound. And that's no slight on Chris Stewart. He's done a wonderful job, both defensively and with the bat. But Cervelli, a threat with the bat, a little more pop, a little better in RBI situations. But I tell you, both those guys will give you great at bats.
Yeah.
I mean, they really do.
Yep.
They've done a great job.
Yep.
Nice job addressing that need after Russell Martin heading out of town.
Jeff Locke will roll one to Peralta. A quick 1-2-3 inning for Carlos Martinez. 1-1 heading to the bottom of the second.
Tonight is Twitter Tuesday on Root Sports, and our guest is new acquisition Michael Morse. He was asked by Sean, does this Pirates team show any similarities to the Giants team you won the World Series with last year?
The similarity I see with the Pirates is not only do they want to be in the playoffs, but they want to win the division. So they're not canceling out winning division. They're gonna. It looks like to me that it's win division, and we know we're going to be in the playoffs. So for me, a guy to just come here, that's pretty amazing to come to a team that is so gung-ho and they know they're good, not just on paper, but we come to the park every day, and these guys are ready to win no matter who it is.
And you hear these words, and you read the quotes when he first got here, Greg and John, about how excited Michael Morse was to get here and play for the Pirates and put on that uniform. You see him talk with passion a second ago. That bodes pretty well, given that less than a year ago he was celebrating in Kansas City, winning a World Series. But that guy, Travis Ishikawa.
Yeah, two guys that were postseason heroes with the Giants. We'll see the Giants, by the way, Robbie, come to town the first time this season next week. one away. Hope you'll get your tickets for the series that starts on Thursday. Actually, the Diamondbacks come in Monday for 3 games at PNC Park. It's coming Monday night, 3 games, and then 4 with the San Francisco Giants. Scotty flies to right, 1 away, and now Jeff Locke will face Mark Reynolds. First inning was 1 broken bat. There was a line drive hit by Peralta, and then a ground ball and error, so he threw some more pitches that he had to.
It's still pretty remarkable, though. They get out of that first inning facing the 6 batters, only throwing 16 pitches.
Chop, there's Ramirez, and he guns it to first. 2 away. It'll bring up Carlos Martinez. Make your next group outing the event of the year at PNC Park. Put together a group of 15 or more and get special discounts. Ask how you can receive one-of-a-kind experiences like access to the field. Find out more. Go to pirates.com/groups or call 1-800-BUY-BUCKS. Bucks back home Monday night for a 7-game homestand. Martinez has 5 hits and 39 at bats. That's a 128 average. Well, he had a quick 1-2-3 inning. The top of this second, facing the bottom third of the order. Locke would like to return the favor. 2-0.
Yeah, after the first 2 quick outs, he'd like to throw that first one right in there, get the pitcher swinging. But Jeff Locke has not had his best fastball command early on. But again, has made pitches when he's needed to.
Clint Hurdle and Ray Searage. And it is a quick 1-2-3, bottom of the second. Both pitchers retire the side in order in the second inning. End of the third at Busch.
Sports is brought to you by the Chevy Traverse and your Western PA Chevy dealers. And by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go, Bucks.
Day Automotive this day in Pirates history. 1986 Pirates and Cubs finish up a suspended game that had been suspended because of darkness April the 20th. Pirates win 10-8, 17 innings. Thanks to 2 players that weren't even on the roster in April. Barry Bonds had the game-winning hit. Barry Jones, 4 shutout innings. Struck out 8, got the win. A game that was officially in the books April the 20th. With players that weren't on the roster at that time, ended up helping them win that ball game. Well, Barry Jones might be watching as we speak. Good buddy Barry, who Makes his home in the Pittsburgh area. And who actually was on the construction crew to help build PNC Park.
Yeah, how about that?
Gregory Polanco.
IU guy. Also,
Yeah, that's right.
You know
Got to point that out. Yep. We saw an IU guy recently, did we not? The Cubs. Kyle Schwarber.
Schwarber's an IU guy.
Yeah.
H.K. Kim is an IU guy.
Jung Ho Gang's interpreter. And a fly ball hit well to right center field. Back is Hayward and no, it's off the top of the wall. Polanco will head to third base. He is going to be there with a triple, and that close to either being an out or a home run.
My goodness, if we had some close calls of
you're not kidding.
Neil Walker the other day and now Polanco, Hayward kind of just thought he had it. He thought he had room. He reaches up and just kind of
misjudged it, really.
I think he got to the wall and didn't realize he was that close to the wall.
You see the ball hit off
but to
the top and just to his right.
Yeah, to the side of his glove. Wow.
A leadoff triple for Gregory Polanco. Thinking maybe home run and then seeing it hit off the top. Almost got Marte. You see those replays, you think, doggone it, and it's easy for us to say. You wish as soon as he hits the ball, he takes off.
Yep.
Full speed ahead because it's an inside the park home run if he does, but it's easy for us to say that up here. Allegheny Health Network Super Mo. It's off the top of the railing. And now at the infield in, a chance for Marte. 4 triples for Polanco on the year. And popped up on the infield. Not going to do it. 1 out.
We mentioned the great numbers for Martinez with runners in scoring position. And why they're so good is because he pretty much goes soft. He's not going to, typically he doesn't want to give in with a fastball to hit in these situations. 2 breaking balls to Marte. Got this soft pop up through Andrew McCutchen. The steady diet of breaking balls his first time up with Marte at second and 1 out.
Well, so John, then do you change as a hitter your strategy knowing that?
It's hard to. It's so hard to, knowing a guy has that kind of velocity. Well, he got away with one there. Molina, you see where he was set up. He's set up away. He wants this breaking ball. It's his slider down and away. And Martinez does not have great command of his soft stuff, but has gotten away with a few early on. I'm going to try to sneak a fastball out there. Look how far off the plate, though. He doesn't want it to be a strike.
And it is. At least it was called one. It wasn't. But Adam Hammery, the home plate umpire, called it a strike. It was just off the plate.
Yeah, when a guy throws that hard, you can't give him too much off the outside edge, and that pitch was off the outside edge.
That time is called here. Molina, almost as he walks out there, kind of shaking his head. Look at this.
I don't know if it's a strategy thing or, you know, what's kind of strange is the Carpenter started walking over there right away, too, almost before Molina did.
Out in front, 0-2, and for whatever reason, Molina goes out to talk to Martinez.
And he may say, hey, let's just keep working that fastball away. Just keep it off the plate. Who knows? Maybe we'll get another call instead of risking hanging another breaking ball.
Reaches out and pokes it foul out of play. It was a fastball away again.
Yeah, and good job. And that's the thing that is a disadvantage for Andrew. I mean, they call the first fastball off the plate away a strike, and so he has to expand and protect. Look at how far that pitch is off. Andrew would never chase a fastball that far off the plate unless, you know, he was afraid of getting rung up on the board. Now look where he is.
Wow.
Molina. And again, yeah, that's the one pitch he had to hit. He fouled off, Andrew, that breaking ball that was in. But then Martinez gets some help by the home plate umpire. And Molina exploited that. I mean, he used it to his advantage. He figured we'll just keep going out there further and further away.
Well, you saw that. A great example of it. Each pitch further and further away. The 2 fastballs and then the breaking ball. Now it's up to Ramirez with 2 outs. And a bouncing ball into left field. A clutch 2-out hit for the Rammer. Aramis Ramirez steps up and singles to left field after Martinez did all that work to get Marte and McCutchen.
How about that? We mentioned it. He's allowed 4 hits all year long with runners in scoring position, 2 outs.
There's
Pirates
the 5th right there.
Have 2
tonight
in the first 3
innings.
And again, look at the location. That's why Molina's staying away. Martinez has left a lot of those breaking balls in the inner half of the plate. He left one there, a mistake, and Ramos makes him pay.
Jung Ho Kang doubled in a run in the first.
It was a frustration fastball there for Martinez at 98.
Polanco, the triple off the wall, very top. And Ramirez, RBI number 6 since coming back to the Pirates.
There was one of his better breaking balls there. Great location. And not much you can do with that, especially after the 2 two-seamers. The fastballs in under the hands.
Two and 2 on Jung Ho Kang. Hitting close to 400 against Cardinal pitching this season. Fouls off the fastball at 99.
And that's pretty amazing. And that's why it's hard to look soft against a guy like this. And he's throwing 2-seamers at 95, 96, 97. Throw the 4-seamer at 99 miles per hour.
And he gets him. But after he struck out McCutchen for the 2nd out, Aramis Ramirez singled into left, 2-1 Pirates. in the Bentleyville area. Thanks for watching and rooting on your Pittsburgh Pirates. All of us at Root Sports and the Pirates appreciate your support. Now 2-1 Bucks going to the bottom of the third. Happy birthday wish. Her 91st. Mary Jane Henderson. And she was thrilled to see Aramis Ramirez deliver the RBI single to give the Pirates and Jeff Locke the lead. Matt Carpenter led off the bottom of the first inning with a broken bat single to center. Locke fell behind early against Carpenter back in the first, and he falls behind here early on. 1-0.
Trying to remember. I don't remember any breaking balls from Locke first time through the lineup. Seemed like he was pretty aggressive, just trying to move the fastball around. Now, second time through, starts Carpenter off with 2 curveballs.
Missed with that fastball. 2-1.
I've always thought that was a good game plan for pitchers, especially pitchers that can locate the fastball first time through, especially if there's no trouble, as we'll see this 4-seamer missing just off the plate in. But, you know, if you can get away first time through and just locate the fastball and get through it.
Yeah, why not do it, right? Well, ends up walking him. Leads off with a free pass. We want to see your strongest fan photo. Use the hashtag PittDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Here's Colton Wong. Hit a chopper to Neil Walker in the first inning. Takes a strike as he showed bunt.
Yeah, hitters at a huge disadvantage, I think, especially the second, third time through the lineup when you haven't seen the guys breaking pitches, especially if you get up there with runners in scoring position. That's usually when they'll break it out.
A couple of quick strikes now on Wong.
Good way of attacking there. Down and away for strike 1, up and in for strike 2, and now go to the breaking ball, maybe get a chase.
Dribbler foul.
Almost got him to chase, but staying alive.
Six and 6 on the year for Jeff Locke. Wondered about whether he'd see the Cardinals a third time through the lineup, because in 4 of his last 5 starts, he's gone less than 6 innings. 3 of those just 5 innings. Talked before about number of pitches as he goes through the lineup and what they do. There it is, an indication. Of course, the Pirates have those numbers. 304 a third time through. That's why he really needs to be so efficient. And a line drive to right field and a base hit. First and second and nobody out.
Yeah, when you make your pitches to get ahead 0-2, I mean, then you really want to try to bury that guy, especially when you're left on left. Get him to try to chase something out of the zone. You have paid pitches to waste, and that breaking ball ends up, you know, knee high, maybe just below the knee, middle of the plate. Too good a pitch to hit.
Two on, nobody out. Here's Johnny Peralta. He has it into 13 double plays. Second on the team to Yadier Molina, who's hit into 14. And now 0-2.
And that's the good four-seamer that Jeff Locke goes to so often. Trying to get that pitch right on the edge, a little above the thigh. Perfectly located.
Uncle Ray Searage, a well-respected Pirates pitching coach. Pitching staff that was, especially the starters, lights out in the first half of the season. But they have hit a bump in the road since the All-Star break. A.J. Burnett being out hurts. Locke really hoping to have a strong start here to begin this road trip. He's been better at PNC Park. At PNC Park this year, his ERA is 3.16. On the road, it's 6.43. 2-2 on Peralta. Gets him. One away.
Boy, that fastball had some movement. Didn't hit his target. Wanted it in. Did Cervelli. Watch the ball run away. That good late tail. Right at the knees. That's one of those, if the hitter takes it, the umpire ends up calling it a ball because he missed his target so much.
So much movement.
Yeah.
Well, Hayward hit that chopper, and Pedro Alvarez went way up to get it, gunned it to second. Jung Ho Kang then threw back to first. Initially, it was called a double play, but Cardinals challenged it. And the replay showed that Hayward had beat the throw. He picked up his 38th RBI. Brought home Colton Wong from third. The Mike Matheny challenge paid off. Another chopper. This time Alvarez misses a tag again. This is the second time this has happened to Pedro Alvarez. The first time was against the speedy Billy Hamilton. And this time he lunges at Hayward and the safe call there.
And is he out of the base ground? The last time this happened, he didn't go for the tag, and that's why they said he was safe, even though he went out of the baselines. Did he go out of the baselines there?
Right away you see Ron Kolpa say safe. Again, easy for us to say, but if you're the first baseman, John, you've played there before. What do you do there?
Well, I mean, that ball's where it is. I mean, you think maybe it's hard to sit there and stay back and think you can catch it and touch the bag, and so you got to go after it and go after the runner. You have to go for the tag, especially with the guy. Hayward got pretty good speed.
So he did the right thing.
Yeah.
But
was unable to.
You credit Hayward, or does the first baseman have to dive at him? I don't know.
As soon as Pedro grabs the ball, he's reaching to try to tag him. Now, I know his hand's in that lane, but he's quite a ways outside that running lane. I will credit Hayward saying that. I mean, that was one heck of a slide. I mean, he did a good job. I mean, that's all he can do to try to avoid the tag is to go wide and dive and reach back for the bag. I guess the only thing you have to argue is, was he in or out of the baseline?
1 ball, 1 strike on Grichuk. Grichuk reached on an error by Aramis Ramirez his last time. Here's Hayward, the big man, and still
I mean, Pedro did all he could, in my opinion. The only thing you could do other than that is maybe try to stay back and touch the bag before the runner gets there.
Good block by Cervelli.
Jeff Locke has the confidence to bury that breaking ball, knowing Cervelli will go down there and block it. Tried to get Chase, but not fishing.
Oh. Well, how do you do, Jeff Locke?
Yeah, that's the bread and butter for Jeff Locke. You know, when he's good, he's able to locate this fastball, this four-seamer in there. Perfect pitch, top of the strike zone, right on the edge.
Now faces Molina. Bouncing ball to second. Walker on to first, and Jeff Locke, a tremendous job.
Very nice.
Leaves the bases loaded. 2-1 Buccos. Hitting pitchers in Pittsburgh Pirates history. Plus, join Mark Melanson as he crosses off a bucket list item by floating over Pittsburgh in a blimp. Much, much more inside Pirates baseball. Presented by Allegheny Health Network tonight after postgame on Root Sports. Bucco fans on hand here tonight. A lot of them watching Jeff Locke escape. I know Jack Robinson and his wife Lisa are here from Pittsburgh, along with many, many others to watch the Pirates and the Cardinals. And here is Neil Walker. Talked to Walker before the game about his strong second half. Really picked it up beginning of July, and it's continued. Trying to drive the ball to the gaps, he said. Look for his pitch to hit. And it's 0-2.
I tell you what, it's pretty impressive though when Neil Walker, with that effortless smooth swing, when he gets the barrel to it, how far he can hit the ball, because it just looks so easy and effortless.
Last 6 games against the Cardinals, hitting .357. He said he's as confident as he has ever been from both sides of the plate. Righty and lefty. But he'll be retired on this ground ball to Wong. Point Park University tweet. We're talking about a bunch of Pirate fans making their way to St. Louis. Mac's dad here at Busch to cheer on our Buccos here at Busch Stadium. It's really fun to see the black. Still a ton of red everywhere, but it's neat to see a lot of the black and gold spotted throughout. Pedro Alvarez struck out in the second and hits a high fly ball to center field, going back, and this ball is gone. Clear the deck. Cannonball coming. Pedro Alvarez, his 16th of the year, and as we said earlier, nobody since the start of 2012 has hit more homers against the Cardinals than has the Big Bull.
And that one got out of here in a hurry. That's a no-doubter. That ball was crushed. Martinez makes a mistake up, out over the plate, and for whatever reason, against these Cardinals, when Alvarez gets mistakes, he takes advantage. Fastball above the belt. She's so strong. My goodness.
16th homer and 15th his career since 2012 against these Cardinals. This is how quickly it got out. Grichuk going back, runs out of room. It's way back.
Yeah, a guy hits a ball, a normal human hits a ball that on that trajectory on the line, center field. You're just hoping it gets over the wall, maybe first row or in the bushes right above the wall. That's 10, 11 rows deep.
Yeah.
Incredible.
There's a broken bat, bouncer to third and in the dirt. Carpenter's throw as the barrel wound up near Peralta. 2 outs. Pedro Alvarez talking with Neil Walker. 16th home run of the season for Alvarez. That hurdle always goes out to the top step if there's anything close. Most in the majors against the Cardinals. And the Pirates, they have been hitting the long ball lately. They've homered in 12 of the last 13 games. That's their 23rd homer in the last 16 games.
It's just a totally different offense when they got the long ball going.
That long ball helping Jeff Locke. Alvarez, number 16, 3-1 Bucks. East, also a tight race with the Mets a game and a half up on the Washington Nationals. Mets are leading that one 1-0 in the bottom of the 8th inning against the Colorado Rockies. Washington taking on the Dodgers later. That is Matt Harvey pitching a 4-hit shutout. The Pirates will probably see Harvey next weekend, as Stephen Piscotty, who fly to right field in the 2nd inning, leads off the 4th. Bucks up 3-1. Bottom 3rd of the order. One hop shot off of Alvarez into the left field corner. Ramirez not able to knock it down.
Anytime you get the top spin 2 hopper hit at you, and it's kind of an in-between hop, which makes it even more difficult. Looked like it may have got a piece of Ramirez's arm before going down in the corner. It's just kind of do or die. You hope your glove's in the area where that ball's coming up.
Piscotty leads off with a double. And here's Mark Reynolds. Against lefties and righties after Matt Adams went down when they picked up at the deadline Brandon Moss to hit against right-handers, and Adams they hope to get back before too long. So they're getting healthier. Pirates have 2 players on a rehab assignment tonight in Indianapolis. Jordy Mercer and Josh Harrison. 2 balls, 1 strike count on Mark Reynolds. He bounced out to Ramirez in the 2nd. Three and one.
Breaking ball there. Dropped the hook on him. Behind in the count, 3-1. Cervelli just setting up middle. Ends up hitting that outside edge.
Gets enough of it, but Walker will jump to make the play on the soft liner. 1 out. Allegheny Health Network injury update. The rehabs begin. Josh Harrison, Jordy Mercer. And a hitless night for Jordy Mercer. Josh Harrison 1 for 4. The plan is for Josh Harrison to play 3rd tonight. He'll play 2nd tomorrow. Maybe a day off and then out to right field. And even left field, he'll bounce around. And the questions, yeah, Jung Ho Gong and Aramis Ramirez have locked down that left side of the infield since the trade deadline when Ramirez came over. And Martinez, it's a fly ball to McCutchen in center. There'll be 2 outs on the play. Scotty goes to 3rd. See if Locke can get out of this. He got out of a bases loaded jam last inning. Cardinals had the bases loaded 1 out. He struck out Randall Grichuk, got Yadier Molina to bounce out. Here Piscotty leads off the 4th with a double. Matt Carpenter, a broken bat single and a free pass. He's now 3 for 12 in his career against Jeff Locke. Ball one.
Going on about Martinez and the job he's done with runners in scoring position. Jeff Locke has not been as successful this year. It's 283 against him coming in tonight's game. With 2 outs, it falls to 250, but he's done a good job so far tonight. 1 for 9, the Cardinals through 4 with runners in scoring position. The only hit, that infield hit from Hayward, that did not produce a run.
1-1. Is now the 3rd time through the lineup for Locke. Bucks up 3-1. 2 outs in the 4th. Two and 1. Happy 33rd birthday wish going out yesterday to Francis Foley Brown III. Birthday for Frankie. 2 and 1, 2 outs, and a runner at 3rd base. The Pirates leading by a couple. And it's 3 and 1 on Carpenter.
You always have to be careful with, although batting leadoff, the 17 home runs, 60 RBIs.
Colton Wong next. He is 1 for 2. Toward left center field. And Marte. Jeff Locke gets out of it again. Pitching a good ball game through 4 innings.
Tuesday, Michael Morse is our guest tonight. Very honest, very open answers. He was asked if he has any plans to really get to know his new teammates and any future plans for an off day to hang out with his new guys.
Chris Stewart, actually, I played with him back in 2001 when we both. I came to the professional baseball in 2000. He came in 2001, and so we've known each other for a very, very long time. And you know, one of the guys I was very close with last year, Travis Ishikawa. I mean, me and him, we've gone to lunch, you know, together. So.
Both were members of the Chicago White Sox. That Stewart and Morse back in 2001. Morse was a part of the White Sox organization for a while, 2004. They played single-A ball together 2003. So that's over 12 years of a relationship in the game of baseball between Chris Stewart and Michael Morse. And here they are, teammates in the bigs.
And right away, Gregory Polanco singles into right center field for the Pirates to start the 5th inning. Polanco, who tripled off the top of the wall to start the 3rd, begins this inning with a base hit.
Keep climbing, Gregory. Keep climbing as he Continues to swing the bat well, able to get out there and use those long arms to reach that pitch that was down, maybe off the plate away, slapping in the right. Got that average over 250 now.
Now Starling Marte has doubled and popped up. Thanks to Robbie. We'll hear more Twitter Tuesday from Michael Morse. As Polanco leads off the fifth with the 6th Pirates hit. Marte with 13 homers, 57 runs batted in on the year. Marte has not hit a home run since July the 1st. A long drought for him.
Yeah, I'd say.
Lines it into right field. They'll take that. First and second.
Yeah, what a nice looking piece of hitting right there from Marte. You know, he got a couple pitches up and out over the plate. Couldn't do much with it. This fastball was supposed to be away, but ends up running over a good bit of the plate. A nice approach. Marte shortening up, driving that fastball out to right.
So he's 2 for 3. And now Andrew McCutchen, who has struck out in both of his at-bats against Carlos Martinez. Looking in the first, swinging in the third. As we said before, the Cardinals have done a nice job in pitching to McCutchen this season. Just over 200 is his average against the Redbirds this year.
Like your chances here. Andrew McCutchen, his third opportunity with runners in scoring position this game. NL's leader in such situations.
Martinez gets out in front, 1 and 2. Great speed on the bases with Polanco and Marte.
Wondering about the running game against Martinez. Nobody runs against him. He doesn't give up anything. Very quick to the plate.
And popped up in foul territory. Reynolds going over, and it's out of play. That would have been interesting. No doubt that Polanco would have moved up. So it's still 1 and 2. Now, through 11 season games against the Cardinals, McCutchen hitting .213.
He has, oddly enough, hit 9 of the 10 games prior to tonight. That average so low because we play so many extra inning games against this club. I figure you hit 9 out of 10 games, your average would be much higher than that. Well, half the games have gone to extra innings.
Half the games extra innings of the 10 games. 2 of them have gone 14. Cardinals have scored 40 runs this season. The Pirates have scored 41 runs this season against each other. And that's a double play ball. Martinez gets the double play off the bat of McCutchen. Right to Peralta. Chick-fil-A double play.
Always talking about tailor-made double plays. I think with a right-handed batter, anytime he hits a ball that brings the shortstop to the bag, none are easier than that to turn.
As routine as it gets for Johnny Peralta. So Polanco at third with 2 outs. This was the situation in the 3rd inning after McCutchen struck out. Ramos Ramirez came up and promptly bounced a ball through the left side of the infield. And hits this in the air to left. Hit it pretty well in on him. But he flies out. So first and second, nobody out, and Martinez gets McCutchen to bounce into a double play, and Ramirez flies to left.
Sports is brought to you by Allegheny Health Network. Health for all. By Kenny Ross. Just ask a neighbor. And by Levin Mattress. Located in all Levin furniture showrooms and freestanding stores. Let's go Bucks!
It's the first of 3 with the St. Louis Cardinals. The Pirates begin the day 5 back of the first place club in the Central. Talk about seeing some black and gold in the middle of all this red. Pirate fans here at Busch Stadium. Moulton Wong takes ball 1. He's bounced out and single to right. 2, 3, 4 in the order.
I would think there'd be a lot more Bucco fans here in St. Louis if they can get their hands on more tickets, you know.
Yep. Not easy to come by. 2-0. Although I imagine Bucco fans will find a way on Labor Day weekend to get their hands on some tickets. Weekend series here, September 4th, 5th, and 6th. And then the last regular season homestand at PNC Park. Cardinals will be in. Cardinals and Reds, and ball 3. Leadoff man has been on in 3 of the first 4 innings. 4 of the first 5 innings. Locke has had to work from the stretch in all but 1 frame. Wong reaches for a second time. He singled his last time up, and you see some movement, but I don't think anybody's getting up to throw yet in the bullpen.
Typically, the relievers get up and move around the 5th inning, get loose, stretch. Position players, pretty much the same thing after the 5th. They'll go into the clubhouse and limber up, stretch out, swing the bat in the cage a little bit.
Looking for that ground ball right now. Locke upset with himself with that pitch.
Able to get that fastball in there when he's needed to. He's been able to locate it. Again, has been a bit of a struggle throwing the ball consistently where he wants to, but that pitch in on the hands of the righty has been there for him. Now 70 pitches for Locke, 38 for strikes.
Wong has swiped 13 bases, caught 8 times. Falling behind Peralta, 2-1. Cisco Cervelli's numbers in terms of throwing out runners. A lot of that has had to do with some pitchers that have not given him any opportunities. Dangerous territory, 3-1.
They tried the slide step changeup there to Peralta. Again, that arm side, the outside part of the plate for the righty, the inside part of the plate for the lefty. That's where I think Jeff Locke has been inconsistent as far as location.
Line down the line, but foul.
Peralta was hunting fastball there on that 3-1 count. We saw it last inning where he went a 3-1 breaking ball to Mark Reynolds, went with a 3-1 changeup to Peralta.
Three and two. Runner goes, and it's first and second as he walks Peralta. Back-to-back 3 passes in the 5th. He'll be facing Jason Hayward. We'll give you the career numbers for Locke against the Cardinals. 2-3, 3.55 ERA and 7 starts. Ray Searage is going to make a trip to the mound. Locke has pitched 3 times here at Busch Stadium. Last time he pitched here was September 2nd of 2014. He lasted just 3 innings. Had one excellent start in April of 2013. One of his better starts in his career. 7 innings of 3-hit shutout ball. A little surprised that the Pirates aren't going to get someone up, to be honest with you. I mean, they had the day off yesterday. They've got plenty of arms in the bullpen, and this is the Cardinals. You're trying to win this game. You've got long men in that bullpen available, and Blanton.
Yeah, this is an important stretch too, as you mentioned earlier. That this is the start of a stretch where the Pirates will play 20 straight games, no days off. And so when you go 20 straight, you want to get as much as you can out of your starting pitching each and every night. You don't want to tax too much of the bullpen. Obviously, this is just the start of it, so nobody's taxed. There has been plenty of rest of late.
Doesn't get that call. It should have. And it's 2-0 on Hayward. And the Pirates even have Jay Happ out there in that bullpen in terms of length. You know, he's due to pitch, and that should have been a strike. Yeah. It's 2-0.
At the bottom of the strike zone.
Ground ball, right side and through. And it's 3-2. Hayward grounds a single through the right side to make it a 3-2 ball game.
already. 11 at bats with runners in scoring position. He's allowed 2 hits, both to Hayward, a swinging bunt, and now this one. Hard hit ball through the right side. Polanco wisely does not throw it home. Make sure he keeps the runner Peralta at second base.
Jared Hughes is going to get up now, start loosening the bullpen for the Pirates. Richick a chopper, and Locke lets it go, and Ramirez makes a fine play to get the out at first, 1 away.
It's a very productive out, though, as Locke going to his right didn't go after that with much urgency. Maybe he heard Ramirez right away, because as you see, he doesn't get a very good break, and then he just kind of moseys on over, but Ramirez has to make a nice play. Got to have pretty good hands to come up with that bare hand grab, and then the easy throw off balance from there.
Infield will concede a run. As the middle infielders will. Yadier Molina at the plate. He's bounced out twice. And a pop-up. Very shallow center field. McCutchen will throw toward the plate, but that's not close. Sacrifice fly for Molina. And it's 3-3.
Walks will hurt you. Back-to-back walks to lead off this 5th inning with the 2-run lead.
Now Stephen Piscotty, the 2 walks. Wong and Peralta score. Hayward moves to 3rd on the fly ball.
Got away with a pitch there. Locke trying to go in. Caught a good bit of the plate, but Piscotty comes up empty.
Ball, 2 strikes to count. I'll have to ask Clint Hurdle if he even thought about that, because I thought it was interesting the other day that Joe Madden pulled Jason Hamill in the 5th inning, kind of a similar situation. He walked a couple, they had the lead, and you wonder, well, that didn't miss by much, but it did miss. 2-2.
Fastball again going in there just off the plate. That happened with Martinez not too long ago. I was looking at his game log.
Pulled with a lead early.
Pulled early.
Yeah.
Close game. I'm trying to think. Look it up.
And now the Cardinals lead it.
Surprised he went away. He had Piscotty swinging and missing at that fastball in, especially when he got it above the belt. He was unable to get to it. Swung through 2. Went with the breaking ball and left it middle. Runners in scoring position, 2 outs. Not where you want to leave it.
Well, the Pirates had the 3-1 lead going into this 5th inning. Locke walks the first 2 men, gives up the RBI single to Hayward, and after the sacrifice fly gives up the 2-out hit. And not to beat a dead horse, this again is the 3rd time through the order. And Jared Hughes is ready But now Pirates will look to see if he can't just get out of this with the 8th man in the order and then Martinez due up.
Martinez back on July 19th against New York. He won 4 innings, gave up a couple of runs, 1 earned, 72 pitches was lifted. But they did not have the lead at the time.
There's Jay Happ, one of 3 lefties in the pen. Happ is scheduled to start against the Mets this coming weekend, but available if need be. He'll be making his 2nd Pirate start coming up. In the shallow right field, Polanco, those long strides, gets there, and that's the final out. But damage done. 2 walks, a couple of RBI singles, a sacrifice fly, 4-3 St. Louis. Allegheny Health Network Supermo. 4-3 Cardinals. And Jeff Locke did a nice job of getting out of some jams in the 3rd inning and put up a 0 in the 4th, but then walking the first 2 men, Colton Wong and Johnny Peralta. Comes back to bite him, and now the Pirates are trailing by a run. Here is Jung Ho Kang, who has doubled to right and struck out. And 2.
Again, Martinez, breaking ball up in the zone. Certainly, you mentioned Locke. Times missing the mark.
Chopped to deep 3rd, and Carpenter one away. As though the Pirates have made the decision to pull Locke now, with Archimedes Caminero loosening. Maybe waiting to see if they get down to the spot of the order. Jeff Locke follows Cervelli, who's in the hole. Pedro Alvarez on deck. Ball 1 on Walker. He's bounced out twice.
not get the fastball. Neil Walker thought for sure 2-0 count, he'd get the fastball, got the changeup, helped him pitch down out of the zone. Another changeup there, Martinez. And that's where he's really grown as a pitcher. Not just trying to blow it by guys. Pitching backwards. We've seen him pitch backwards a lot. Trying to get ahead with the breaking stuff, then come with the fastball. This at bat, changeups 2-0, 2-1.
Strikes out Walker. Pedro Alvarez comes to the plate, and bringing the lumber is brought to you by Yellowwood. Alvarez hits a ball 446 feet in the 4th inning. Gave the Pirates a 3-1 lead. His 16th of the year. Martinez now with 6 strikeouts. A line drive into right center field for Alvarez. That will travel to the wall. He is into second base with a 2-out double.
Yeah. Can't make mistakes to the big bull, up and out over the plate. And Martinez threw some nice changeups to Neil Walker, got him down, had him fading away. This changeup, look where the location is. Right around the letters, out over the plate. Pedro, another bullet.
He is 2 for 3. His second and third hits against Martinez in 14 at bats. He has 16 homers on the year, 16 doubles. And here's Cervelli with Travis Ishikawa coming out on deck. Mike Matheny's not going to waste any time. He's going to get up Randy Choate right away. Left-hander. As soon as Alvarez hits that double, he is up and probably looking at Polanco. Well, maybe Ishikawa for all we know. They got him up that quickly. 1 ball, 1 strike on Cervelli. Veteran Randy Choate. Right center field. Over is Grichuk and makes the catch. Into the bottom of the 6th. 4-3 Cardinals. The Buccos here in St. Louis. Next to him, my brother-in-law, Lance Bentler.
coming in to check out the game.
And the Pirates and Cardinals playing the first of this 3-game series. Cardinals leading this one 4-3. Along with Robbie and Smikowski and John Wayner. Greg Brown with you. Pedro Alvarez, a solo homer and a double in this ball game. The Pirates had the 3-1 lead going into the 5th inning, but Jeff Locke walked a couple. That hurt. And now the Pirates will lift Locke after 5 innings and go to Archimedes Caminero to try and keep this a 1-run deficit. They'll face the pitcher, Martinez.
51st game for Caminero, 2-1, 3.88 the ERA, 57 punch-outs in 51 innings.
And the pitcher Martinez has struck out and flied out. Once again, Jeff Locke goes only 5 innings. 5 of his last 6 starts. He's gone less than 6. He's gone 5, then 7 1/3, 5, 5, 5 2/3, and 5. Quick strikeout of the pitcher for Caminero.
Surprise, another 1-run game here between the Pirates and the Cards. You want to keep it close. A lot of time left to come back, regain the lead.
But you want to get it done before the 9th, both teams. The Cardinals and the Pirates want to get it done before the 9th because 2 of the best closers in the game, Mark Melancon for Pittsburgh, Trevor Rosenthal for St. Louis. Carpenter, single walk and a fly out against Locke. Walker, nice backhand play. Retires Carpenter. Star Wars night is coming up 1 week from tomorrow at PNC Park. 7:05 game against the Diamondbacks. Star Wars themed night featuring a special pregame costume contest. Plus, fans who order tickets online will get the official Pirates Star Wars t-shirt. For tickets, go to pirates.com/Star Wars. That's 1 week from tomorrow. That'll be the finale of the 3-game series against the Diamondbacks. The 7-game homestand starts on Monday night against Arizona. And then Thursday, it's the Giants in for 4, the defending World Series champions. Carlos Martinez in line to get the W through 6. Two and 1, 2 outs. And slaps it through the left side of the infield. Ramirez well off the line, and the shortstop Gong shaded him towards second, and Wong shot it through there.
good piece of hitting. Wong, again, continues to be a tough out for the Pirates.
Peralta has single struck out and walked. Again, Wong with the 13 steals. Caught 8 times, has a big lead. Might be going. Not at this time. A fly ball to right. And that'll do it. Caminero pitches a scoreless bottom of the 6th. Pirates down a run, head to the 7th here at Busch. There is Michael Wacha on your left, and talking with Adam Wainwright in the middle there. And speaking of Michael Wacha, and in fact, Clint Hurdle said Wacha kind of reminds him of an Adam Wainwright. Wacha 13-4, Garrett Cole 14-5, to the top 2 right-handed pitchers in the league go at it. And then Thursday, it's Liriano against Lynn. Ishikawa batting for Caminero, leading off the 7th.
That's just about as big as a Cole Kershaw matchup, right? Tomorrow night?
Yeah. Clint Hurdle was asked that by I think a St. Louis writer. He said, "Is that how big a matchup is that tomorrow?" Wacha and Cole. He said, "We just had Kershaw and Cole."
Yeah.
1-2 on Ishikawa.
Martinez, you kind of saw almost like a pick-me-up at that last inning of work, the 6th inning. You kind of see that. You know, they got him the lead back. And now a little more sense of urgency. The pace is picked up.
Momentum really shifted when he got McCutchen to hit into that double play, 1st and 2nd. Nobody out in the 5th. Got Ramirez to fly out, and then Garrett Cole gives up 3. No doubt he felt like last inning Martinez lifted his game a bit, but now it's 3-2, so a big pitcher to Ishikawa.
He's really begging on that 2-2 pitch. I thought maybe he'd get the call, but that breaking ball well off the plate.
Locke gave up 3 in the 5th, and he strikes out Ishikawa.
And again, the guy has 98, 99 miles per hour in his back pocket, and so you're up there as a pinch hitter. It's a 3-2 pitch. You're certain you're going to get a fastball leading off the inning, and that changeup. Look at the movement down and away. Didn't really have to come into the zone to Ishikawa. Everything down, everything away. And that thing right there was just about unhittable. And as a viewer, you might be like, well, why did he swing at it? I mean, you're expecting 98. It starts out, it looks like a strike when it leaves his hand, and it just disappears.
Polanco's had strong at-bats here in this ball game. Triple off the wall in his second AB. Single to right. His last time up, there's a line foul. He is now 6 for 10 against Carlos Martinez. Kevin Segrist getting ready. He's picked up by Wong, but Wong waited way too long to right himself and get a throw off. That'll be an infield single for Polanco.
Yeah, and you got to know the speed of the game, and that speed is different than most. Polanco and Wong, oh, we'll just take our time here, come up and throw. No, that doesn't work with
What
Polanco.
is he thinking there?
I have no idea.
I mean, that's unbelievable.
That's just, yeah.
Look at this.
Yeah, that's, again, and we see this all the time where I think nowadays more than ever, with all the highlights and everything else, I mean, so many players are more worried about looking cool than,
I guess so,
being really good or being great.
Yeah.
And to me, you know, no reason for that hesitation to take your time.
Well, Polanco will take the hit, so will the Pirates, but that's a play that has to be made. See if the Pirates can make the Cardinals pay for that. Marte has 2 hits. Milton Wong, no error on the play. An infield single for Polanco, who is 3 for 4. That is fouled off the third baseman Carpenter right next to the bag. Had that been fair, it might have been a double play.
Carpenter hugging that line over there. Marte, first at bat, similar pitch. Pulled it down the line. Fair. Carpenter was not on the line. Went for a double.
He wanted Marte to chase. He wouldn't. 1-1. See Martinez at the 90 pitch mark. And the double play ball anyway. A little trouble by the shortstop Peralta to get it out of there, but they still turn it. 6-4-3 BP.
The authority of the Pittsburgh Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
UPMC scoreboard, Cardinals lead it 4-3. Going to the bottom of the seventh, Starling Marte hits into the inning-ending double play. Maybe the last batter that Carlos Martinez faces tonight. And he watches his infield turn it. Fired up.
He pitched himself into and out of trouble. A little problem there with Peralta getting out of the glove, but it was hit so hard right at the St. Louis shortstop that even with the double pump, able to turn the double play. Antonio Bastardo takes the mound for the 43rd time. A record of 4-1. 3.60 ERA. 35 innings, 34 strikeouts.
Jason Hayward will lead things off. Carlos Martinez goes over 100 pitches now and again, but not much more than over 100 in any of his starts. And John, you were pointing out that he is over 35 innings up from last year.
Yeah, now approaching 50.
That's usually a really red flag for a young pitcher. They measure all, keep track of those innings, and they oftentimes clubs don't like a young pitcher going more than 35 innings or so from the previous year when he's being built up as a starter. So you wonder if Martinez even goes out for the 8th. Kind of doubt it. 2-0 on Hayward. Had the RBI single in the 5th inning after Jeff Locke walked Colton Wong and Johnny Peralta. A ground single to right field. Brought in the 2nd run. Made it a 3-2 ball game after a ground out. Yadier Molina lifted a sacrifice fly that tied it, and then Stephen Piscotty's RBI single to center gave the Cardinals the lead. And now Bastardo falls behind Hayward, 3-1. Michael Wacha, 13-4. The ERA of 2.92 opposes Garrett Cole tomorrow, 14-5 with a 2.39 ERA.
To extend very best wishes to my father-in-law, Rich Bedler, resting comfortably in the hospital room, medical emergency yesterday, but doing well. Thoughts and prayers to you, Rich.
Hopefully the Pirates can come back for him in this one.
Yeah, he's tuned in, guarantee it.
Hayward to left. 1 out. Playing fantasy baseball, MLB.tv serves up real-time highlights and pitch tracking info on your out-of-market fantasy players, live or on demand on over 400 devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Get MLB.tv today.
Actually, he is tuned in to MLB.tv.
There you go.
Perfect segue. He'll be up and running the bases before long. He actually told me that yesterday.
Well, you got to believe him.
He thought I was in the room with him and told me that, John, I'll be up and running the bases in no time. And I wasn't there, obviously. I was here.
Well,
the pain meds.
He will. He will be.
Hopefully.
Oh, so Bob Walk gets into the act, huh?
Yep.
To throw stuff at us. Why would he do that, John? Why would Bob do that?
It's always about the attention. He
loves the attention. He loves it. Now, see if we start talking and pretending, will he do it again? Do you think?
I don't know.
He doesn't. No, he's not. See, he got the attention. He got what he wanted. A little camera time. Oh, Bobby. Actually, young Bobby. We had the future stars. Yeah, let's show what was. This greeted us when we walked into the broadcast booth today, someone had put that up on the wall saying, "Welcome back, fellas." And of course, what John won't show you, I will. This is for Bob. This was also up there.
That's enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's Bob that wants the attention.
This should be the second out. And it is. 2 down.
Another one in the radio booth, an old Bravo photo.
I wonder if there's anything going around. Anything past him. Terrible throw.
Got rejected.
Tim's gonna pick that up and fire it back at us. Yadier Molina with 2 outs and nobody on in the 7th. And nobody up in the Cardinal bullpen, so Ingezo Matheny will let Martinez start the 8th. And he's got McCutchen 3 times to strike out twice and get into a double play. Martinez will head out for the 8th.
Got a little help there. Chasing that pitch well up and out of the zone. Almost over his head. Another one up and out of the zone. Finish this off. Nice quick inning would be nice. Near the strike zone.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 41,273 here tonight to see the first of a 3-game series. And the Cardinals with a win would move 6 up on the Pirates in the Central. Molina lifts this one to left. Antonio Bastardo has a 1-2-3. Bottom of the 7th. Andrew McCutchen will lead off for the Pirates in the 8th, down 1. Leading things off here. We'll get to our Data Strong fan photo of the game. It's brought to you by T-Mobile and Mike Zalak. I believe that's how he pronounces his name, leaving PNC Park with the broom after the sweep of the Dodgers. Thank you, Mike. Here, the Cardinals, who swept a 3-game series over the Pirates in walk-off fashion. First 3 days of May. All games went extra innings. See the pitch count not at 100 yet. Kevin Segrist is up in the bullpen as the inning begins. Well, he's gotten McCutchen 3 times.
All in pretty big situations.
McCutchen came to the plate with a runner at second base in the first inning and 1 out and struck out looking. Came to the plate with 1 out in the infield and a runner at third and struck out swinging, and then with runners at first and second, nobody out in the 5th, hit into a double play. Martinez has really done a job on the National League's Player of the Week. Segrist is ready.
And you wonder, does he come at him with the fastball? We've seen it so often here tonight. Martinez not throwing the fastball in fastball counts. No, breaking ball, hung it. And Molina set up away, ends up catching a lot of plate, belt high. Got away with a mistake.
And into center field for the first out of the 8th inning. Martinez has Andrew McCutchen's number tonight. Ramos Ramirez has been hit by a pitch and singled in a run and flied to left. Pirates had a 3-1 lead going into the bottom of the 5th inning. Jeff Locke allows the 3 runs, give the Cardinals the lead. And now they are 5 outs away.
Martinez again, I mean, he's out there and his stuff is so good that he does get away with mistakes, but he's getting away with some breaking balls that so many of them he's trying to get away from the right-handed batter. Left another one into Ramirez, and Ramirez was just out in front. You know, but guys that have the plus velocity, the plus stuff, tend to get away with more than guys with average stuff.
Here's the 100th pitch.
And still throwing hard, 97 miles per hour. Just his 27th ball. 73% strikes.
Now 3-2. Pirates have Tony Watson and Jared Hughes up. Have to figure that if Martinez loses Ramirez, that we will see Segrist to face Gong. But we'll see. Martinez will turn 24 next month. Where's that number 18 in honor of his good friend who was killed in that car accident over the winter, Oscar Taveras. And to right field, Hayward for the second out.
Martinez has been around a while to be just turning 24, and it's the case tomorrow night too. Seems like Michael Wacha's been around a while, and he just turned 24.
This young pitching of the Cardinals has carried them to this best record in baseball. The Cardinals pitchers, who had a 38 consecutive scoreless inning streak end last Wednesday. Yadier Molina, almost like a pitching coach himself, goes out there and talks to these young hurlers a lot. It's all one on Gong. The Cardinals have allowed 294 earned runs this season, which is the third fewest allowed through the first 111 games by any team since 1969. Really on a historic pace. 2-1.
Chung Ho was looking to tie things up with one swing. This time he did throw the fastball 2-0, but too much movement, ran under the swing.
Two balls, two strikes.
Garcia there. Another impressive season.
Struck him out looking. That'll be it for Carlos Martinez. You would think, leading by one. Ticket pricing for military members. All active duty, reserve, veteran, and retired service members and their families can save up to $10 on tickets to Sunday through Friday Pirates home games. Get all the details at pirates.com/military. Carlos Martinez goes 8 innings. Was trailing 3-1, but his offense picked him up, picking up that 3 spot at the bottom of the 5th. And now he can win it if Trevor Rosenthal can close out another. Jared Hughes going to try and keep it a 1-run deficit. Oh, off of Hughes. Don't know where that hit him.
That's scary.
Don't know where that got him. He's claiming he got his glove up in time. Todd Tomczyk out.
Todd doesn't believe him. Wow. That is scary business. If nothing else, you need to go to the mound just to
absolutely
slow the heart rate.
No doubt. Oh, wow.
Whoa. Hit the deck, Jared. Neil was right behind him. Would have been a nice, easy play, but that is scary. That ball gets to you in a hurry.
3 straight hits for Stephen Piscotty. Now Mark Reynolds. Another look. Right back at him.
Didn't have time to hit the deck. Didn't have time to get out of the way. Self-defense.
And just enough to get it over the head of Ramirez. For Mark Reynolds, it's first and second. Brandon Moss was on deck, but now with a bunt opportunity, Mike Matheny brings up Peter Borges.
Didn't get it real good. Almost looked like Ramos maybe started his jump a little too soon, but I don't think it would have mattered. Now looking to add important insurance runs. Borges, and this is stressful. A guy with that kind of speed, a good bunt. A lot of times you have to make a great play just to retire the bunter. Surprise right there. Pirates had the wheel play on. Gunn was breaking towards third, and typically when you have that, you know, as a third baseman, you have to get in there early enough to where if it's bunted to you, you got to make the play at third. Now Ramirez, even if he's turned and he turns himself and puts himself in a position to throw to third, you get the lead runner. But he kind of came in and got that ball.
Well, that was really bizarre because he bunted right into the wheel play.
Yeah,
I mean, hard
into the root. I mean, and that, when you put a wheel play on and the ball's bunted firm to the third baseman, you should get the lead runner.
Is there any chance that Ramirez would not have known the wheel play was on there?
Unless, usually it's the third baseman that puts on the plays.
I mean,
the third baseman is the one who gives the sign.
It doesn't make sense. Second and third, one out. Now, you couldn't have asked for a better bunt into the wheel play. 2-0 on Matt Carpenter.
Carpenter, a guy that's not likely to chase out of the zone. Such a good hitter, patient hitter. You do have first base open. You don't have to give in to him here.
Pitch walk. Long, who runs extremely well. You wouldn't think he would be a double play candidate, but he has hit into 7. Tonight, He's bounced to second, single to right, walked, and single to left.
The middle is playing back for 2.
Line drive by Piscotty off of Hughes' glove, and then the base hit, the soft single by Reynolds, and Carpenter walks on 4 pitches. Bounce to Alvarez. They get 1, and they take the out at the plate. 2 down.
That's big. You see that as Pedro comes charging in here, I'm guessing he felt he was too far from the bag to retreat and cover the first base. He was a good 8-10 feet in front of the first base bag. And Cervelli wise to eat it.
Nobody at first. And 1 on Peralta. And 0-2.
Probably over there with his glove, waiting all day for an opportunity.
Ground ball to Ramirez. The second for the force there. So Hughes keeps it a 1-run deficit. Trevor Rosenthal will be coming on to pitch to Walker, Alvarez, and Cervelli. Takes the mound for the Buccos. Our coverage starts at 7:30 with Pirates pregame, presented by W.B. Mason on Root Sports. Last shot for the Pirates, and they face Trevor Rosenthal. Neil Walker will be leading things off, to be followed by Pedro Alvarez. Rosenthal and Peter Borges is now in the ball game to play center. Rosenthal and Mark Melanson have similar numbers.
33 of 35 in save opportunities. 51st appearance at ERA, just 157. 1 home run allowed. That was right here against the Pirates. Jung Ho Gung.
Well, Neil Walker leads things off. He has grounded out twice and struck out. Walker is 5 for 11 lifetime against Trevor Rosenthal. Alvarez 1 for 8 lifetime against him. Cervelli 1 for 3. In fact, Rosenthal has blown 2 saves this season, both against the Pirates. His ERA against the Bucs is 6.43 this season.
Walker getting geared up for a fastball. He just isn't seeing many. And these fastball counts, he's up there. As you see, good numbers against Rosenthal, 5 for 11. But Rosenthal is actually tougher against lefties because he throws that changeup. You expect 97, 98, 99, and now throws the changeup to the lefty. And now Neal gets back-to-back changeups. You see the splits. Just 169 lefties hit off of him.
Cardinals 3 outs away from going 6 up on the Pirates. And 4-0 here at Busch this season. The Pirates were 2-8 here last year, while going 6-3 in PNC Park against the Redbirds. Michael Morse might get a chance later. Says no.
He's never seen Neil Walker that hot. He's had conversations with umpires before, but I don't know if he's ever been that upset. Take a look at the UPMC Sports Medicine strike zone and
you see why.
Yep.
Legitimate beef. Right throw away. That's not a strike, and Walker lets Adam Hammery know it.
98 miles per hour with movement, and it's just not fair if you're going to get that much plate. Not only away, but appeared to be a bit down.
One on Alvarez. Carlos Martinez 2 outs away from going 12-4. He gave up a home run to Alvarez in the 4th.
All change up so far here to Pedro.
Two and two.
Fourth changeup, and again, Pedro, the 2 hits off of Carlos Martinez were both mistake pitches up and out over the plate. Rosenthal left that one up out over the plate. Lucky to get away with that one.
High heat to Alvarez, fouled off, 2 and 2. Got him. 2 down.
Yeah, this one never in the zone. Up. Well, this it actually touches the top part. Appeared to be a little higher than that and off.
Francisco Cervelli 0 for 3. Carlos Martinez. He is now just 1 out away from winning his 12th. Didn't walk a batter. Hit a man. 1 ball, 1 strike on Cervelli. Rosenthal looking for save number 34. Martinez would go to 12-4. 9 hits, 3 runs, no walks, 8 strikeouts. And now the Pirates down to their final strike. Did he? No. Ron Kolpa playing it cool, not getting caught up in the frenzy.
Very close. Very, very close.
3-2. And the Cardinals win the first game of the series and go 6 up on the Pirates in the Central in a game the Pirates felt like they had going into the bottom of the 5th, and that's where the game was lost, right there.
Yeah, you know, you get up early against these Cardinals, and Martinez didn't look like he was in control of all his pitches, didn't have his best stuff. You're up 3-1, and then Locke, who has struggled pretty much 3 of the first 4 innings, again struggled in the 5th with command. They end up coming up with a big hit and a sac fly to take the lead. Then the Pirates couldn't do much offensively after that. Had some opportunities, but just couldn't cash in.
Once again, the home team in this series dominating. Another close one. And the Cardinals win the first of this series. 4-3 the final. Go back to the studio. Robin T.